What's up, guys? It is 100% Jeff back with another 100% race on F1 2021. And I call myself 100% Jeff because it seems like and it feels like that's all I do these days. And this is no exception. We are doing a 100% race at Canada with some of my league mates. It's a pretty small turnout tonight. We had 9 people in the race, and I would have certainly preferred more, but I felt like the group that we got was a really good group as far as, good drivers, speed, consistency, and willingness to stick out a 100% race, which, just a little side comment, I love 100% races. I understand that it may not be everybody's thing, but I have really been doing a lot of 100% races in terms of just, league races like this. And this is not an official league race. This is just an off-season, get the guys together and run a race type thing. We've done a couple 100%ers this off-season, which if you sub to the channel, you've seen at least one of them. I don't think I posted one because it was pretty trash, just not a good race. But I have been enjoying it a lot. I've been doing it here with these league guys and then also a little bit versus the AI. And I just showed you my qualifying lap for this 100%er at Canada. As you can see, we are starting P6 on the grid today. Which is not great, right? You'd rather be on the front row, but you can't always be on the front row, especially with some of these drivers. The guys in front of me, I was not surprised that they qualified ahead of me, and frankly, I was qualified that I was surprised that the guys behind me didn't qualify in front of me. So it was one of those races where I certainly did not have a lot of pace, and I think you can see that throughout. There's probably one situation where I really felt like I had a lot of pace, and we will discuss that when I get to it. But for the most part, I just felt like I was getting dusted a little bit. And as you can see here after the start, within one lap, I am almost out of a 1-second range behind PCC Godly. So it's going to make it tough to survive until DRS hits on the third lap if you're outside 1 second after the first lap. And I was somewhat worried about Juzzy there, but as you can see, he drops down a bit. I don't know if he had a bit of a moment elsewhere on the track, but he is about 1.5 seconds behind me now. And the person right behind me is Ghost726, who is super fast, absolutely rapid driver, and I think he does pass me a couple times probably later in the race. But for now, the fact that he's on mediums is really helping me. I'm on this relatively fresh pair of softs, and I guess it's a quartet, isn't it? It's 4 softs. It's 4 tires. So I'm on the softs, and I feel like I'm going to be faster than Ghost. And as you can see, I stay about 1.8 in front of him going into the first DRS detection zone. Unfortunately, I am outside the range of the guys in front of me. So fast forward a bit to lap 15 here, and Ghost, as promised, is getting close to within range of me. And I think we're kind of at the point where I've been on these softs for 14 laps, 14 and some change laps, and I'm certainly starting to feel it. I'm sliding around a little bit. I'm a little less comfortable, and Ghost, is on the mediums, which have a bit more life. And as I mentioned previously, he's a faster driver than I am, and he plays on a smaller TV than I do, but he's a faster driver than I am. So as you can see here, he's going to get within range of me and very quickly make the pass as we go into the DRS zone. Well, after he got the DRS, which makes sense. I wasn't surprised. I expected it at some point. My softs are going to drop off and I won't be able to hold a lead out in front of him anymore. Well, that's fine. Whatever. We move on. I'm currently P4. Fast forward a bit, you see lap 17. You see KB007, who has actually already pitted. He did, I think, 4 laps on the mediums, 4 or 5 laps on the mediums, and switched to the softs, which I thought was an interesting strategy, but he qualified on the mediums. I don't know if it was a wing damage situation or he just thought he was going to be faster on the softs. I don't know what it was, but regardless, he has already pitted. He got by me pretty quickly, and he's off to the races. I don't think I saw the guy for the rest of the race after that point. As you can see here, fast forward a little bit, lap 18. Spots also was catching up with me. Spots, I believe, has already pitted as well. I think went soft to medium, but he's a fast driver as well. This didn't surprise me, but he got past me pretty quickly. And at this point, though, I'm about to pit, so I didn't, this wasn't the biggest thing in the world. And in fact, I'm hoping that I can stay within DRS range of him so that I can hopefully get a little bit of a boost going down the straight and maybe at least benefit slightly from being passed on track. And I do get passed quite a bit during this race on track. But that's the way it goes. When you race guys and girls, I guess, if they join the league, although we're all guys in my league, not by choice, it's just how it's worked out. Anyway, that doesn't seem relevant. Fast forward to me putting it into the pits there. Coming out, 2.6 second stop, pretty good. That's tops of the league probably. I don't know, at least tied for the best. It's hard to say. But we come out in P6 right behind Spots. Well, not right behind, 20 seconds behind and about 4 seconds in front of Hal. So fast forward again here, and you see me get past Spots as he pits. And we've also got Juzzy approaching there. I didn't show it, but I pretty quickly, easily got past him. He saw the blue flags and let me by, so that was super cool. But fast forward a bit here. Spots has pitted and is getting here within a second of me again. And that's a bit disappointing. His mediums are not that much newer than mine are, but also he's substantially faster than I am. So it's not exactly some massive issue or surprise. I mean, I kind of expected it, but I will say mentally my psyche at this point was a little bit busted. I mean, I've gotten passed on track multiple times by multiple guys. I think the only time I've passed anybody is when they're in the pits, but unfortunately this is sort of the game that I play. As I'm just I try to be consistent, but I'm pretty slow. So if I'm not consistent, I'm in trouble because I'm certainly not going to make up for it with speed. But you may have seen there, I was just trying to give Spots room, and I gave him way more room than I needed to, and drove it straight into the wall. I've got front wing damage. I've got a pit after like 10 laps on the mediums, so I've just essentially wasted a set of mediums. I have forced myself to pit again. I've got to go back onto the softs and try to make these last as long as I can. And ultimately, I think if I had been on the medium, this might have ended up a different race, and you'll see why further on. It's not guaranteed, but it certainly would have helped. So I come out of the pits. I'm a bit behind Hal. You see me here catching up with Hal. And I actually, it's a bit confusing to me because I was gaining time on him throughout the race. And I actually asked him after the race, like, hey, man, did you have wing damage? This guy's my teammate. He's been my teammate for 3 seasons, I think, 3 or 4 seasons. So, we obviously talk, and I asked him about it, like, hey, man, did you have wing damage or what? Because I was certainly gaining on you quite a bit. And it turns out, no, he didn't have – well, I think he did have wing damage, but he was just talking about driving conservatively to try to save fuel, which I thought is interesting. And there was a bit of a conversation in chat after the race that I thought was super interesting. I fueled to 70 laps on the dot. Exactly. It said 70.0 laps. And as you can see on screen right now, I've got about 0.3 laps above the minimum here. So it was surprising for me to hear some other people say the same thing, that they were struggling with fuel consumption throughout the race, because I think I was maybe behind on schedule before my first pit stop, and then I went for my first pit stop, and before you knew it, I was set in terms of fuel consumption. So it's interesting to hear if maybe how others drive is affecting, maybe the line they're taking, or the throttle usage is really affecting how much fuel they burn. And you would expect that, but for me it's interesting because it's never been an issue. But anyway, fast forward here. You saw that KB007 actually DNF'd, was out of the race, and caused a safety car, which was fine with me because I have no penalties. And everyone else on my timing board, 4 drivers, one of whom has left the race. PCC Godley actually disconnected, and AI ran the rest of the race for him. So you fast forward here to the safety car that we got, and I'm sitting pretty because everybody around me has penalties. I know if I can stay within 12 seconds of Ghost, I have P3 locked up, and maybe more, because in a 100% race, there's a good chance that the people up the board have gotten penalties as well, number 1 and number 2. And unfortunately, I did get my third track limit violation of the race there, and so got a 3-second penalty. But I will note that spots in front of me got another 3-second penalty, and Ghost, of course, has 12 seconds of penalties ahead of him. So if I stay within 9 seconds now of Ghost, as opposed to the 12 before I got my time limit, track limit violations. If I can stay within 9 seconds of him, I've got P3 locked up. And again, maybe more. It's hard to say. So I get past Spots there, who I'm pretty sure had wing damage. I didn't see what he said after the race, but just based on the way that it was so easy for me to pass him, and I caught up with him when he looked like he either went off track or got close to going off track, I'm guessing he had a bit of contact with someone else, got some front wing damage, and just decided to finish the race on it, because it was frankly a lot easier than it should have been for me to get past a guy who is frankly a lot faster than I am. So I'm glad that worked out for me. But at this point, I'm a little worried because I'm being slightly held up by engaging in this battle with Spots. I can't just stick behind him because I'm pretty sure he has wing damage. And even if he doesn't have wing damage, there's something going on that's making me faster than he is. So I really need to get past him ASAP because, again, if I don't stay within 9 seconds of Ghost, I'm not going to get P3 and potentially P2 above that, because you may have seen that Hal, my teammate, had 15 seconds of penalties. So I'm guaranteed to get up there as long as I can stay within time of him. So you see Spots there let me past. Like I said, I do think that he had wing damage, but regardless, he did let me pass there, which I really appreciated, because he had 15 seconds of penalties as well. Obviously, he wasn't competing for the same position that I was, though we were next to each other on the track with his time penalty and my lack of time penalties. As long as I don't wreck out or something or get massive damage or a big spin or a big moment, I would have been within time there to stay ahead of him. So I think he recognized that. And again, probably, maybe, potentially had some wing damage and sort of realized, hey, this is not a battle to fight. So he let me through, which big appreciation to him for that. It may have really helped when it came right down to it. As you can see, I am within 9 seconds of Ghost. I am within 12 seconds of Hal, which is what's needed given his 15 seconds of penalties. So I am, as long as I keep it clean here, I'm guaranteed P2. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking maybe P1. Could it be? I don't know what kind of penalties Big Rye has up there. Big Rye Guy 98, who was in first place, fast racer, ultra fast. And we crossed the line, and you see that I jumped to P2. So Big Rye Guy also only had 3 seconds penalties, and he was much faster than I was, so I had no hope of catching him. But I did catch the two guys in front of me, so I ended P2. I was not fast throughout the race. You see that my fastest lap time looks to be third slowest on the grid, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a race where what I pride myself on, which is my consistency and just ability to keep it on the track more often than not, that is what really saved me in this situation. It gave me P2. It just goes to show you kids, even if you're not the fastest racer, as long as you stay on the track, you might do okay. And I finished in front of a lot of guys who were a lot faster than I am, but we love it.